Imagine being tasked with finding the perfect spouse by traveling 600 miles across ancient desert lands. Knowing the future of humanity's blessing depends on your choice. That's exactly what happened in one of history's most high stakes matchmaking missions.
Well, that's quite a pressure filled situation. How did this servant even begin to approach such a monumental task?
You know what's fascinating is that his first move wasn't to create a strategy or make a plan. He went straight to prayer. And not just any prayer, but an incredibly specific one that would reveal both character and capability.
That's right. He essentially created a test that would show genuine kindness and work ethic. Drawing water for 10 thirsty camels meant hauling about 250 gallons from a well, which would take hours of hard labor.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Before he even finished praying, Rebecca shows up and volunteers to do exactly that. But what I love is that even with such an immediate answer, the servant didn't just jump to conclusions.
Hmm. So he balanced divine guidance with practical wisdom? That seems particularly relevant for how we make decisions today.
Exactly. And when everything lined up, his response was immediate worship. He didn't wait until the mission was complete. He stopped right there and acknowledged God's work. Then he did it again when her family agreed and again when they arrived safely.
Well, that reminds me of how often we wait for perfect resolution before we express gratitude. This servant saw divine guidance in each step of the process.
And speaking of process, let's talk about Rebecca's decision. Here's a young woman being asked to leave immediately, travel with strangers across hundreds of miles of desert, to marry someone she's never met. The cultural norm would have been to wait several months.
That must have been such a defining moment. Weighing all the evidence, the servant's testimony, the obvious signs of guidance, and then making this life changing choice.
You know what's particularly striking? Her family actually asked her opinion. Will you go with this man? Which was revolutionary for that time period. And her answer was clear and decisive. I will go.
So, this story really operates on multiple levels. It's a love story, a faith journey, and part of a much bigger divine plan all at once.
And that's what makes it so relevant today. We might not be choosing a spouse for the son of a patriarch, but we all face decisions that require us to balance practical wisdom with faith and immediate action with patient waiting.
Well, that brings up an interesting point about modern decision making. How often do we try to compartmentalize our spiritual life from our practical choices?
That's exactly it. This story challenges that separation. It shows divine guidance, working through very practical means. Family connections, cultural customs, and even something as mundane as watering animals.
And look at the ripple effects. This one marriage was crucial for the formation of Israel as a nation, and according to the text, ultimately the coming of Christ.
You know what's particularly meaningful about the ending? The text mentions that Isaac was comforted after his mother's death through his marriage to Rebekah. So beyond all the grand spiritual implications, there's this beautiful personal element of God providing comfort and companionship.
That's such a powerful reminder that even when our decisions have bigger implications, God still cares about our personal well being and happiness.
And perhaps that's the biggest takeaway, that the God of the universe is simultaneously working on the grand cosmic scale while caring about the intimate details of our individual lives. It's both humbling and incredibly encouraging.